What's up, guys? Welcome to Resume Game Episode 3. My name is Lee. I'm joined, as always, by Mike.
Yup.
And Mike.
What?
And tonight, we're talking about games we wish were and weren't canceled. But before we get into our lists, let's just take a few minutes to talk about how game cancellation not only hurts the fans, but also hurts developer ties with, these overseeing companies. It's never good to cancel a game, especially ones that are, heavily in development. Like I could think of one, Scalebound, is supposed to come out on the Xbox One. It's canceled for no reason. Mm-hmm. Xbox One has no exclusives. There's no reason to have canceled that game. Like, did you hear about that one, Mike?
Yes, and it pained me because that is one of my wished weren't cancels. Actually, perfect.
Well, then you can.
So it looked excellent, and the dynamic of it with the whole, having the dragon, that whole battling thing looked cool, but the mechanics looked awesome. The seamless animation of, the pilot, having the badass, Cloud Strife looking sword, whatever that was, just running up the dragon and all that crap, and just, you got the dragon attacking and the person attacking. It was just cool, different little mechanics. The trailers always made it look cool. And yeah, it had a great showing at E3 2015 and 16.
Yeah, and out of nowhere, game, it was like 3/4 of the way done development, right?
Yeah. I mean, I hope somebody else takes it over or somebody picks up. It's going to end up being Sony that's going to be like, oh, hey, because was it Platinum Games or something? Is that the studio?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so Platinum Games will probably end up, they probably have the IP. I doubt Microsoft has the trademark. I don't think they do, to be honest. So Sony could just come in and say, hey, this looks like a cool project. Why don't you join us and stick it up Microsoft? Stick it to them. Which, I'd be cool with that because that game deserves to come out. It looked beautiful.
Yeah,
incredible.
Yeah. I mean, considering, how little exclusives that console has, it made no sense for that to get canceled at all. Like, They had no reason to do it. They just canned it. There's no press release saying why they canceled it. It's just done.
And
I don't understand.
And that ended up being a black eye for Microsoft, and that's almost like early 2000s when 2 generations ago, I guess Generation 6 with the GameCube and the Xbox.
Yes.
So Generation 6, where Rare ended up being sold to Microsoft, and that almost was a punch in the gut for Nintendo because that was their, outside studio that they had that agreement with, that they were putting out a lot of Nintendo's biggest hits. And now GameCube loses that. There was only one Rare game that came out on GameCube, and that was Star Fox Adventures, and that was a hit. I heard. I mean, review-wise, when I was looking into it, it got reasonable reviews. I never played it.
It was decent.
So it wasn't great, right?
Mm.
But either way, that hurts. That hurt Nintendo in the end, and Rare's really hasn't been good when they went to Microsoft. I think
that game was actually supposed to be called some Dinosaur Adventures or something.
Oh, it was a completely different IP.
When they threw Star Fox into it last minute.
Because what was it? One of the people at Nintendo suggested that the Rare or something.
I guess so, something like that.
They're like, hey, Star Fox would be good in this. So boom.
So Star Fox wasn't meant to be in that mess?
No.
Oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense.
That was a completely original game that they threw Star Fox in last minute.
I saw an interesting one, actually. I didn't put it on my list. And speaking of Rare and Nintendo, there was supposed to be a game on GameCube called Donkey Kong Racing.
Oh, that's first on my list.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, so...
Yeah, I'll let you preface that. I'll let you get to that.
Yeah, so, man, Donkey Kong Racing. So that was shown off at E3 2001. Supposed to come out in 2002, but Rare was bought out by Microsoft, so they lost the rights to the Donkey Kong characters, and Rare reworked that game heavily into a game called Saberman Stampede.
Yep, I saw that video.
And it was supposed to be on Xbox 360, and it was almost done, but I think they realized late in development that that game was completely pointless. There was nothing to do in it. There were no goals.
It's like a safari platform.
Yeah, so
it was weird.
That got canceled as well, but it would have been awesome to see Donkey Kong Racing. Like I remember when I first got the GameCube, there's a picture of it on the box. I was like, whoa, I want that.
That's right.
Donkey Kong Racing?
And it was like kind of a spiritual sequel to Diddy Kong. It was
It was
more
supposed to be a sequel, yeah.
because it was more what the Donkey Kong characters probably was going to be, but
Yeah, they were
still brought
riding on
back-
the animals, like the animal friends.
Yeah, they still brought back from Diddy Kong Racing. Raj was that his
Right,
name?
right, right.
Taj Raj,
Something like that.
the
Raj or
the,
Taj.
the genie elephant.
Yeah.
he,
But,
he
yeah,
was
since,
in it.
like one video was shown off of that game, like it hasn't been confirmed whether WizPig was set to return, and we'll never know.
WizPigs, that was a tough boss, especially the second WizPig race in the future world.
Never made it there.
I beat it in high school actually when I plugged.
I need to go
dusted it
back
off.
and do that.
It's great. Diddy Kong Racing's fun. I mean, the multiplayer alone's fun when you do the battle mode, like arena. That's a lot of fun actually. But
Yeah.
that's a shame with Donkey Kong Racing. It would have sold a lot of units because Rare Donkey Kong.
Yeah. So is Rare still owned by Microsoft?
Yep.
Yeah.
They're doing that Sea of Thieves game, the pirate game.
Oh, right.
Yeah, there's see, that's the one thing that I hold against Microsoft is that ruined Rare because they put out none of their games really end up being that good. I mean I doubt Viva Pinata is a memorable game. I think
I had fun with
it
that.
had a following.
I had
I
fun
followed
with that
it.
for about like 3 weeks. It was cool.
It had a following.
was
Pinata
awesome.
creatures, and there's like
Yes.
then there's like the bad creatures who try to eat the good creatures. That started creeping me out. He's like red dudes rolled up to his place, started eating them. Like, nah, bro, just because they have candy in them, don't be doing that.
Shouldn't the bad guys be like children with bats, like trying to whack?
And maybe it's later in the
Break
game.
him.
I don't know. Maybe that's like as you go further along.
I mean, to me, but who looks back on it and says, "Oh yeah, Viva Pinata"? Are you gonna put that with Banjo-Kazooie and Donkey Kong 64? I'm not. I'm not personally.
I'm gonna say yes, but I'll just get yelled at by you.
Yes, I hold ill will, and maybe I'm in the minority for all we know. But either way, I that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So, do you have anything else about Donkey Kong Racing that we both I guess missed, or?
No, that's it. It was reworked into Saberman Stampede, and then it was canceled, and that was it. It's dead. Never coming back.
R.I.P. Donkey Kong Racing. They did they did kind of end up doing a true Diddy Kong Racing sequel on DS.
Oh, that was just a port.
Oh, they added new characters then, right?
I'm not sure.
They added Donkey Kong in it or something,
Super
right?
Whiz Pig.
Super Wiz.
Yeah, probably a Super Whiz Pig. But no, I mean that was like the one time Microsoft let Rare do something outside of Microsoft. But I don't think you're going to be threatened by a handheld system, so that's probably why. So but
Well, what do you got, Mike?
So here's how it goes for me for those of you who have been listening thus far. I am ill prepared for most of these my life, I guess.
As always.
So here I am again,
You
looking
scumbag.
through my
Piece of
lovely
crap.
Samsung S4, just browsing around. I do have one contribution.
there's
that
our corporate shill.
I had one. Am I getting paid for that?
No, but you just shilled the product.
Well, because I like that compared to other phones. So yes, thank you, Samsung. I like my phone. I do have one contribution though. While I'm still mining around randomly in the internet, going to pages that just don't want to load, or it's like those sites you go to where it's like, top 13 items, and you gotta click to go to each page. Like that's real handy for me.
Like BuzzFeed.
So
Like BuzzFeed.
yes, like BuzzFeed. I was just on some other site. Whatever. Anyway, I'll stop and I'll try to contribute. So, okay, the one that came to my mind when Lee brought up this idea, there was one came right off the top of my head. I'm not really a fan of the series, though. It is just an interesting story that I'm sure both of you know, and that would be whatever the deuce the next chapter in Silent Hill was going to be. If
There
anybody's
was
aware of that.
Silent Hills. It was supposed to be called,
Silent
right?
Hills, yes,
Yeah.
Silent Hills, right? Okay, and that was for those of you who don't know the demo that was out. That was PT. It was just called PT. It was downloadable through. I don't have the Xbox. I got the Sony, right? But you could download it, and it was this real trippy, just like in the series, is this real trippy chapter that I don't know how it's supposed to tie into the rest. At least I think it was supposed to tie into the rest of the series. I think it was. Maybe I'm wrong. See, all I know is the lore behind the demo because it's a fabulous demo, but the game got pulled. And one of the rare things happened at that time for the Sony store. I mean, was this downloadable for Xbox? I don't know. But I still have the demo on my console. Okay. They pulled it. Normally, demos are around like till the end of time, basically. The only reason they're going to pull it down is because maybe it's just too old. No one's really downloading it. Maybe just taking up space somewhere. But, because they had to, and it was such a thing that I remember getting the email. And I remember it was on you go to websites or talk about and everything, and they sent out the information. I had gotten like a little pop-up message update about through my PlayStation account, and it said, look, if you want to download this, you have until whichever date it was to download it, and that's it. Like, you can't download it again. And I never heard such a thing. I mean, even if you have like a PlayStation Plus membership, I do. I should say. I stopped. I don't have enough incentive to renew it, to be honest. But if I ever did renew it, I could just re-download all the free games I got before. So, I mean, the franchise, in terms of that game, it looked really interesting. The demo was just totally badass. It was one of the creepiest things I ever played. I mean, nothing
Was
like...
it the leg creature in it with the other pair of legs on top of it? That's the only thing I remember from the Silent Hill
Well,
games.
no, that's the thing. This was totally different. Kind of like how when you say with, okay, so fill in the blanks. What was the newest Resident Evil? 7?
Yeah,
Yes.
I think it was
20? 7? Okay, we'll go with 7.
7.20.
So, because what happened was when you play that game, that's like a totally different part of the Resident Evil story, a totally new environment, classic horror house format and everything. That's kind of like this. You're in the house of this dude and his family or whatever, and you're just roaming around there and all you're doing in reality is you're just doing laps around the first floor of the house. And then there's the creepy bathroom you could walk in and out of. The more time you do the laps, more things change. There's blood. Different things happen, I think, with the paintings. And eventually you walk into the, the ye old, undead fetus thing crawling around the sink for your pleasure, So, and once you saw that, you're like, okay, all right, all right, what is going on here? And, I mean, it was really, for a demo, it's rare for, in my opinion, a demo by itself to really captivate you. Like, a demo wants you to go buy that game, but there are people that just love this for what it was. And a long time people were talking about the game, and I forget why it got shelved, but it did. And that was, again, that was a thing that a lot of people still mention to this day. It's still a highly requested. I mean, it wasn't weak in its development. Graphic design was there. I mean, there was music. It was ambient, right? But I mean, everything was on point for what was designed. It wasn't like it was a shoddy demo that you could tell, okay, they just decide not to continue funding for the project. It was a pretty polished product for what it was, for being just a demo. So, yeah, don't know.
So that is interesting. I never got into the series personally.
I never did either. Like, I played, and I knew the creatures that Lee was talking about, because I played a lot of, I never played later on in Silent Hill. I think it went up to 4 maybe. I remember playing I think the first and second one were PlayStation, I think. Maybe 2 was PlayStation 2, I'm not sure. But I remember playing when I was younger the earlier ones. I haven't played the later ones, to be honest, and I was like, oh, free demo. Yeah, I mean, I'll try this. It doesn't look like it's, and I liked it, but yeah, I mean,
It's strange how they release demos and then cancel a game.
Yeah,
it's such a tease.
It's a middle finger.
And especially when you
middle
get
finger.
a response from a demo like you did. I mean, can you imagine, you think of a popular title now that, about that new, what's that new Spider-Man game that we were talking about?
Oh, the
Homecoming?
badass game.
Is that Homecoming?
That's the movie.
That's a movie.
Is
It's
it
just called Spider-Man. There's no subtitle yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Homecoming's a movie. I didn't know if the game was
Yeah.
spun off from it. That's why I was curious. Okay. So, but, say it looks really good. We talked about previously, right? And they bring a demo out for that. It's a really fun demo. Everybody's into it. And 3 months later, you find out no game. You're going to have an uproar. And there was an uproar about this game, too. And I think something to touch on is, at what point then, I understand video game industries, like everything else, is a business. but at what point do the gamers really don't have a voice in terms of what should come out? Because if the gamers are going to buy it, yeah.
I mean, in the age of internet and Kickstarter, I feel like that would even that should decrease the chances of canceled projects, because they could always just take it to that and say, hey, give us this funding, fans, if you want to see it. And then that's what happened to Shenmue 3.
Oh,
That was just Kickstarter, and now it's going to be on PS4 whenever. So
2031.
2031. The 2 years, it's going to come out 2 years before Final Fantasy 7, and then probably 15 years before Kingdom Hearts 3. So
Sounds accurate.
Perfect. So yeah, 2040 something, Kingdom Hearts 3. We should. That's what my sources tell me.
On
so
PS6.
on the PlayStation 6, maybe 6.5. That's what our sources on the show have been telling us, so they're pretty reliable. But my game, I'm merging these kind of. Well, I'll merge them, and I'll merge it with a wished was canceled, or wished would be canceled. First, wished that I wished weren't canceled, because they're both Conquer games. One was, I mentioned this.
Here we go.
I mentioned this recently. 12 Tales.
Yes.
Where it was like they canceled it because it was too similar to Banjo-Kazooie.
It turned into Bad Fur Day, though, right?
Yeah, but still, it would have been cool to see that and then Bad Fur Day, just to see the game come out and see how the full game would have been. I don't think it would have been good, but it's one of those things that, for me, built up enough intrigue, and they, got enough done of the game to where it would have been cool to see it happen along with Bad Fur Day. So that the whole premise was, it's literally 12 tales in the storybook, and whatever hat Conquer puts on, it takes him to that themed world.
That would have been cool.
Which, he put on a gladiator helmet. He goes in a Coliseum world.
Yeah, did Bad Fur Day parody a lot of movies?
It did. The final boss fight was Alien.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yep.
He just burst out of the panther.
Yep. There's so much ridiculous. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the Panther was
Panther
the king. And then if Conquer, if you run out of lives, one of the cutscenes is Dead Conquer. And he's the one of the legs on a table. So like when the Panther's putting his glass of milk on the table, Conquer's one of the leg stands, one of the table stands. But 12 Tales, it was probably wouldn't have been great, but it could have been good. I mean, it would have been interesting to see that come to fruition.
Maybe we should petition for it to come back.
I should. I mean, I'm the resident Conquer fan at this point. It's it's kind of weird, but. The other one is, I read up on it. They were supposed to, Rare was immediately going into development for the sequel to Bad Fur Day. It was going to be called Conquer's Other Bad Day. And it was just going to be him being the king of, whatever region he lives in. And
Drinking his milk.
Yeah, he just blows his riches. And so now he's back to being kind of a loser. And I guess he's looking, his girlfriend died, and he's just in, I don't know, some journey or whatever. Either way, I forget what I read exactly, but it was like they had a fairly specific plot detail that came out that the people behind that game, had written out. But it was supposed to be on GameCube, while Rare was still GameCube. I think that would have been a good game for GameCube, because Bad Fur Day had buzz, and I think other Bad Day would have sold a lot of units for GameCube, and it would have helped. Just having Rare, like we were talking about earlier, would have tremendously helped. But yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to see that. But I think it got a semi-sequel with that. Rare came out with that Project Spark, which is kind of like a level creator, game creator kind of thing, like that Super Mario creator.
Is that what that is?
Yeah,
I've heard of it, but I don't know. I didn't know much about what it was.
Yeah, I didn't play it, but they would release different episodes. Like they released a Conker's Reunion, mini series. I guess they did it episode by episode, and that's kind of almost like a spiritual sequel to Bad Fur Day. But I don't think it satisfied enough people, because I don't think a lot of people got Project Spark. But I mean, it's cool that they did something to address it. Not the greatest, but that brings me to one of my canceled games. As I stumbled on this accidentally, actually. Microsoft, I guess, is soon releasing to consumers their own VR thing. HoloLens. I guess
Oh,
they're calling
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Because right now it's in the developer.
Oh, goody.
Yeah, so I'm not interested in it. Anyway.
Super original. I bet it's totally different from the other ones. Keep going.
Anyway, I guess there happens to be a Conquer game, but
Please tell me it's like beer goggles.
no, sadly not. This is why I put it on canceled. This is why it's on my canceled list because
Which were.
which should be canceled. I
Should
I
be,
just
Okay.
kind of cheated it. I cheated at what should have been. I threw that just because it was that bad looking. It's called Young Conquer, and it's like
What?
it's a younger Conquer, and it's almost like they're going back to him being a childish character, and the character design looks so crappy. He looks horrible, but it's just I was reading up on it. Apparently, there's an uproar where there's people online petitioning for it never to be released. So people are really just saying, "Hey, cancel this piece of crap."
They did that with Metroid Prime Federation Force.
Did
There's
they?
a big petition to take
But
it
that
down.
didn't work, obviously.
Nope.
No, I was going to say, I'm like, that doesn't seem to work. Nope.
Nope. But yeah, that's all I have on the Conquer front. So that's my
okay.
soapbox.
Well, one of the games I wish was canceled, and I think we can all agree upon this, is Superman 64.
Oh well, that's considered the worst game of all time, isn't
like,
it?
Yeah.
I didn't even think of such an atrocity. Yeah, we're
I
talking about
should've.
atrocities? I know we were covering
bad.
atrocities.
That game was so broken. The buttons
Yeah.
never worked. Listen, all you did was fly around.
love flying through rings.
Yeah.
Do not piss me off.
Listen, this is the actual plot of the game. Lex Luthor has created a virtual version of Metropolis and manages to trap Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen, and Professor Emil Hamilton within it. Superman enters the portal to the virtual world, where Luthor tells him that he must fly through his maze of rings scattered across virtual Metropolis. After completing the rings task, Superman realizes that he must save his friends.
You'll never win,
That's the official plot.
Rings.
That game was so broken.
They should have
That's
ring
seriously,
dings.
that was like verbatim you just read. That was verbatim.
Yeah, it sounds like a pile of crap.
Wow.
They tried to polish
That
it.
was the pitch, huh?
I don't know how that game got released.
How did it sell? I mean, how people buy it? it's that and ET are notorious for being just complete dog feces
E.T.
quality of
From
games.
the Atari?
Except, yeah, when you look at ET, apparently there was actually an excuse to why it was not good, because they only developed it in like 4 weeks, basically. It was like rushed. It was rushed to get it out by holiday season, so ended up hurting the reputation of the game designer who had a great track record.
So they had to
with
dump
Atari.
it all in a landfill
Yep.
outside Las Vegas.
I got from that documentary that they did on it, actually. That's where I saw that. But no, Superman had no excuse. It was just a piece of crap game. But I think what else you could put on this list? I think any game that Acclaim developed. Acclaim, all their games were always broken. I think to WWF
true.
Attitude and WWF Warzone, where they were just pile of crap of wrestling games. The only thing Attitude had going for it was good audio, but the graphics were crap. Gameplay was
They made the Double
utterly
Dragon
pathetic.
games, right?
The what?
They
Double
made
Dragon?
Double Dragon. They did
Yeah.
Double
Yep.
Dragon. Yep.
Oh, dude, Double Dragon 3, I almost killed myself playing that as a kid. I could never beat it.
I'd
get to
think
the
I
last
tried
boss.
that hard.
Oh my God.
I did have, and I might still have, the old Double Dragon LCD game by Tiger Electronics. If you want to watch some garbage in the palm of your hand, pop that guy on.
They came
It's
out with so
hilarious.
many of those games. I
love
had the
those
Aladdin
games.
one.
Oh, right,
You guys
yeah.
remember that?
Yeah. I didn't have it, but I had Double Dragon. I had some, like, football game, I think. And there was one other, which I don't remember now. What it was. Oh, no. Was there one... I want to say maybe it was a later one that possibly could have been, like... Ooh, I want to say... maybe it was... I want to say Mortal Kombat, but maybe it was like Virtual Fighter or something. I don't know. It was something of the sort. So a game that I was going to say... I mean, it's kind of like... If I'm correct on this, it's now passé. But, one of the games that I know people... in America anyway, wanted was Star Fox 2. Now, if I'm not mistaken, that's on the new...
It's going to be on
Yep.
the Super Nintendo Classic.
Right? It's
It
on
is
the
no
SNES
longer
Classic.
vaporware.
Yeah,
It is not
right.
Which I will be
vaporware.
camping out for.
That's crazy. It's
so,
cool.
You're camping out for that?
No.
Okay.
I'm
Just
gonna go
make sure.
pretty
I
early,
verify. Okay. Well,
I am
people
going
are-
to try to get one.
Well, people are camping out for the Switch. I mean, everybody camps out for anything now because Nintendo gives you an availability of 25 or less. So I mean,
Yeah. So Star Fox 2, that was supposed to come out, but it was so late in the Super Nintendo's life cycle that they just made Star Fox 64 instead. And
right.
They
right,
never
right.
released it. It was
Sure.
finished.
Right.
It was finished and everything,
Yeah,
but they
right.
didn't release it.
Right. So
That would-
apparently this SNES Classic is going for. I got gripe about this real fast. It's going for $80.
Yes.
Oh, 20 more up from the other one.
It comes
With
with two
less games.
controllers, though.
That's true, yeah. I was expecting Final Fantasy 6 on there.
I was expecting
It
more.
is on there.
I was just.
Final
expecting
Fantasy
more.
6? I
Well,
thought
it's called
4
Final
was.
Fantasy 3.
Oh, okay. So
But-
3 is on there. That's it. If it says 3, because they're going by the SNES title.
Oh,
Yeah.
Because remember, back
Translation
then,
issues.
so
Okay, good,
back
good.
then, so I can geek out on it.
Look.
Back then, that's when
That's right,
us
yeah.
American gamers weren't going to catch on to the historical nature of the game from overseas already. Okay, because if we release those games in America, being the first Final Fantasy for Nintendo, and then 2 and 3 on SNES, in reality, if we gave it proper names back then, that would have been Final Fantasy 1, 4, and 6, and the American populace was stroked out trying to figure out what the heck is going on.
Well, they were released 2 and 3 on the NES here because they thought it was too hard for Americans.
Two is painful. Two is painful. 2 is a traditional painful JRPG that is like, yeah, you think you beat 1, well, let's see you beat 2. 2 is the one that really pissed me off in terms of difficulty, and 3 had an okay plot, just wasn't as memorable than once they went to 4 on the SNES.
3 started the whole
and
job changing system, though, right?
Yes, 3 was the first job change, and then 4 went to SNES, and you had now your enhanced color palette and bit rate and everything, and you're able to make more characters, get more background depth, and blah 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 blah.
2 was weird, didn't you? You leveled up by using the same weapon. Like,
Yes, it
would
was something
power
like that.
up that weapon
yes,
the more you use it.
because you had a weapon skill system, and I don't really remember it that well because I chose not to. But yeah, that was part of the thing too. Where the job class system, is straightforward. It's been used in many of the titles. So yeah.
So, what disappointed me about the SNES, SNES Classic, whatever, Chrono Trigger's not on there. That's a bummer.
So let me ask.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
That's-
Okay, I'm going to do this right now
That
because I
that,
really
that
don't know.
epitomizes. That epitomizes.
So what I'm doing.
At least DK Country's on there. That's
Yeah, but come
Still,
on.
Chrono
Donkey Kong
Trigger,
Country 2 was the superior one.
I'm looking up
It
this
was,
game
yeah.
list right
Diddy's
now.
Conquest. You
Yeah.
can't beat that.
Let's see.
no, that was aces.
Let's see.
Excellent.
What's the deal
There's
here?
a lot of missed games they could have put on there that were really good.
Yep. I mean, I feel like they just rushed it just to get it out there while it was on people's minds. With the whole NES is out of order, discontinued. So, I remember the rumor came out immediately about the
Okay.
SNES.
Okay.
But I know there's a third party company doing a Genesis.
Yes.
But it to me, I don't know. I don't trust it unless it's actually Sega doing it. But maybe it ends up being good. The Genesis release.
I think I saw the list for that one. They're putting Sonic 1 and 2 on there and Sonic and Knuckles, but I don't think Sonic 3 is on there.
Huh.
That
I
doesn't
never
make
played
any
3. I
sense.
don't think. I know I played Knuckles and 2.
Oh, you
a
never
lot.
played 3?
No, I played 2 and Knuckles.
Oh, you have to play 3 and Knuckles together.
Oh,
So that's
plays
like the-
Knuckles in 3.
Because Sonic and Knuckles is the second half of that game.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you put them together, it's the full game.
That is cool.
You
I
never
never
knew
knew
that?
that.
Yeah.
Because I used to actually put my Sonic the Hedgehog 2 cartridge in.
Yeah, if you
the
put 2
cartridge.
on that, you just play through 2 as Knuckles. But if you put 3 on it, that's the full complete game. Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
That is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew that this whole time.
Yeah, and there's actually a little story in there. If you go through it.
Sega, they were innovators, but just bad with money and marketing and decision making sometimes.
Yeah. But speaking of Sonic, I will move on to a game I wish was canceled. Actually, not a game, an entire series of games. Sonic Boom. I think there was 3 of them.
There was 3.
There was 3.
They looked awful either
3
way.
of those
I didn't know
games.
there was 3. I thought there was just 1.
First of all, I don't know what they were thinking redesigning the characters so horribly. Giving Sonic a scarf and super long legs.
That's I was gonna say that's the one with the long limbs.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Hipster
okay,
Sonic.
okay, yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
And you
want
have
him to be
Knuckles.
hipster.
Knuckles is the big, the gym bro.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah,
When
yeah.
he has skinny ass legs.
Yep. He looks like a typical roided up gym bro. Just he doesn't do his
Yeah.
leg days. No leg days. Just
And aside
upper
from the
body.
horrible aesthetics of the characters themselves, the game's played like shit.
I'm glad I never played
I
them.
never touched them.
Terrible.
Don't know. I never touched them.
I knew not to. There's basically caution tape every store I went that said, "Don't touch this." So, I'm fine with that. Okay. I mean, you could even put that Sonic the Hedgehog that they did in the 7th generation on the
one's that?
PlayStation 3,
Oh,
Xbox 360.
The one where he makes out with a girl.
Yeah,
The human?
the human girl.
That. Never mind.
That 3D Sonic
That.
Adventure that they
Yeah.
just were like, oh, we're gonna just call it Sonic the Hedgehog, even though there's the original Sonic the
Yeah.
Hedgehog. But I never played it, but I knew it was bashed.
I played one of the Boom games, and I'm Sonic. I'm just using a whip. I'm like, why the hell do I have a whip? This is a Sonic game.
You just still spin or just whip?
He just whips.
Really?
That's stupid.
Just whips.
But you could.
Really?
And the one on Wii U is like a brawler. It was like you're running
Oh, good
around
God.
just kicking Eggman's robots.
Well, that's
Yes.
that's related to Shadow the Hedgehog.
Oh,
He had a
the one-
motorcycle
yeah,
and
yeah.
a shotgun
And guns.
and guns.
I love.
Why do you need a
Shadow.
motorcycle? He could use fast.
He need to be fast. His bullets were faster, bro.
Apparently. I always thought Sonic and Shadow were faster than
What's
bullets.
faster than a hedgehog?
Maybe he got
well,
tired
the
of running.
bullets from a full auto, apparently.
Yes, and he could go light side or dark side. Yes, evil Shadow or good Shadow. And I never played it, fortunately. And then you have Sonic Racers on the Saturn.
Skip.
Oh, I actually like that
Heaping
game.
pile
Skip.
of dog feces.
I played that game
I
a
never
lot as
played
a
it.
kid.
I just heard
It
bad
probably
things
doesn't
about it.
hold up today. I probably wouldn't like it now, but I did like it as a kid. I'll admit.
I never played a Saturn. Period. I just read up on Sonic Racing.
You
What
never
they
had
call-
Saturn?
I think I played Sonic Racing on
I
the
Genesis.
Saturn
PC.
was such a cool
Lost potential.
console. It is because there's a lot of we talked about a lot
Poor
of games
execution.
already, but like no, it's always been Sega's curse. They are always like ahead curve, ahead curve,
Yes.
and
Usually when I'm ahead of the curb, I'm falling on the ground.
whatever works, man. And they just then like mess up on like the marketing, like no, when these games came out, there was a lot of great games, and like our people didn't care or they didn't know.
Did the Saturn come out before the PS1 and the 64?
I think it came out around the same time as PS1. They were both 95.
So no, yeah, Sega's always ahead of them. Like the Dreamcast came out far before the PS2 and the GameCube.
Yes, that's how Sega's always been. Sega was the first one to usually dip into the console market. I want to say that was the same thing, like said years ago, with the Sega Master System. That came out before Nintendo, the original NES. I'm pretty sure of that. But like they always dove into their hardware. Now we know they make no hardware, and
I don't understand how the Dreamcast put them under, though. The Dreamcast had such a good collection of games.
They were already under when
Yeah.
they put it out, and it was just like a crapshoot. Like
Yeah.
the system, for a normal game company in a normal situation, that would have put them over, and they'd still be making consoles today. But they were like code red already, and they were like, oh well, this is our last breath.
They lost so much from they had
Saturn, they lost
they
a lot
had,
from.
had a gain, they had their gains from Genesis, right? But then they lost some from Sega CD due to its difficult interface. Then they lost a ton on 32X, and then they went to Dreamcast and not Dreamcast, I'm sorry, went to Saturn, and Saturn was the right idea, just wasn't marketed in here like it was in Japan.
It should have been more successful. It had the tools, but it just
I mean, one of the best games, I was talking to you the other day about this. One of the best games I ever had was Street Fighter versus X-Men, or was it X-Men versus Street Fighter? I don't remember, but it was a pretty good port of the arcade game, and it ran and everything. I mean, it was a really fun game. I remember I had it, like, all my friends would get together and play it and everything, and but you also had to get the RAM cart, which didn't come to the United States until much later after Japan, okay? And the RAM cart gave you four whopping megabits of
Yes.
RAM, okay, megabytes of RAM, and you drop that guy in, that gives you the speed to go, like, to town to play this game. I bought both the game and the cart from import shop or whatever, right? And it played it. Yeah, okay, cool. It played, and it was really fun. And like, why did that not like? I think eventually it came to the United States. I think it did, but not until like way later. Nobody like really cared at that point because there's all sorts of RF fighters out and stuff.
and on that same token with Sega and porting an arcade game, that was their bread and butter almost, on the Dreamcast especially, where they were just like, oh, we're gonna do whatever we can to, succeed with this. So we're just gonna let these studios of ours make whatever idea they want, and then a lot of them, there was one specific studio that just ported arcade games, and your Soul Calibur, which was a mega hit for the Dreamcast.
Yep.
Crazy Taxi they ported.
Crazy Taxi, the
Great
good
games.
Crazy Taxi.
Yeah,
the good Crazy Taxi.
Yes,
Yes.
That was Sega's gimmick, was just porting arcade games because it was having the arcade at home and having that novelty.
Did they port Hydro Thunder also?
I think they did.
Yeah, I think they did.
I mean, that was smart on Sega's part to tap into that arcade.
Oh yeah,
market.
they did House of the Dead too, right?
Yep.
That came out.
Did someone just say typing into dead?
I was gonna say it.
Oh, yes.
remember
House of the Dead.
Too bad. Like the default keyboard for the Dreamcast was just like a heaping pile of it just wasn't. The console wasn't designed to receive. It's a standard. I think was because it was like a traditional, I think, PS2 connector, where you want to call it, and it had the dongle to go into, right into Dreamcast controller port, and it just never responded perfectly the way it should. There was lag and stuff, and once you got into faster stages, you had no hope. You had no hope, but it was really cool they released it. I don't know.
It's a good idea, and that was they just were like, oh, we'll come up with any
No,
wacky
and
idea.
That's their motto.
Yeah.
That's their motto. We have a ton of good ideas. What do we do next?
Yeah,
Look at them now. Look at them now. Just random Sonic games on multi consoles, and they're doing our games too. But seriously, they're just throwing their rights everywhere. Whoever's coming in with with a bucket of cash, sure. Here, okay, cool, yeah, sure. You want to do what do you call it, Harvest Moon, right? We're gonna call it Sonic Moon. Cash, no problem. Here you go. Go ahead. Now Sonic can start hoeing the fields. I mean, seriously.
I'd pay to play that. I'd pay to play that deed.
Well, at least you would. That's great.
No, I wouldn't. Anyway. Speaking of, one of my wished weren't canceled. Staying with Sega and Sonic, the Sonic Saturn game. It was supposed to be an actual Sonic platformer. Because the only things they came out with for Sonic was Sonic R, Sonic, which was Sonic Racers,
Right.
and Sonic Jam, which was just the Genesis
compilation,
ports.
right.
Yeah, the compilation.
Oh, I didn't know they were making an original one.
I didn't know that.
They were supposed to. It was, I think, because there is a Sonic Extreme that came out, but this was supposed to be called Sonic Extreme, I believe. I think this was originally called Extreme, and they were trying to. The whole story with it is, Sega was trying to. I guess Sega of America was doing the developing on it. And so, the big brother Sega was pressuring them to get it out in holiday '96 to go head to head with Crash Bandicoot and Super Mario 64.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
they were all competing
and
back in the late '90s.
they're like, we need to bring Sonic into the 3D realm, and it was an interest. I don't think it would have stood up if it did get released head to head with Crash and Mario, but it had some neat aspects, and then it was kind of a 2D, design, but it was still 3D. Like the level followed Sonic's movements.
Right.
So, the level will turn with whatever direction he's
So
going.
instead of that, we got Sonic Adventure with Crush 40 and they're singing.
Oh, and both. I love Sonic
Open your
Adventure
heart.
I am
too.
all about Sonic Adventure.
I love them. I mean,
were good
Sonic
games.
Adventure 2.
That's my favorite.
The first one
They were
was,
both good.
The first one was just a glorious glitchy paradise.
it was.
I was playing
The
it
running
again
in place.
a while ago, and you're in the main town. There's the real expensive egg, the Chow egg, and I did something. I know the glitch existed. I somehow managed to run around the shop like a fool. I was half awake at night with my guitar pad, and I was just running around, and somehow just bloop, I went right through the glass, and I'm like, oh, got the egg, and I couldn't get out, but I could throw the egg through the window and then go outside and pick up my brand new egg.
Yes.
And I don't think you're not supposed to get until much later on in the game.
You guys remember the Knights pinball game they hid in there in the casino level?
That's
Yes.
right.
It was
I think
horrible.
I played that
That's
more than the
right.
actual game.
Oh, yeah.
I got
Yeah.
annoyed by it, but I
That was great.
I did love the music for Mystic Ruins level.
Yes, yes.
Yes, that was the greatest music.
Yes. I'll let you do it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was so hard.
I'll
It
let
was
you do it.
so
No
horrible. It
problem.
was great. But Sonic Adventure 2 is actually my favorite Sonic game. Believe it
it?
or not, I love
Really?
it. I love.
Yeah, I played it a lot.
I love the city escape level alone. Just the corniness is great. Where whatever catchphrase he says, escaping the helicopter, and he rips part of the helicopter off, and that's a snowboard.
Oh, no in-flight movie?
Yeah,
I'm
was
out.
it. That was it.
I'm out of here.
Yep, that was it. That was it. That was it. That was a crappy line that I thoroughly was pleased with for all the wrong reasons. But the music was stupidly catchy too in that game. With
Yeah, I raised so many Chow in that game.
I abused my Chow. I always would throw them around and neglect them. And
You
they would all
remember
be
the,
evil and stuff.
The memory card that you would put in the controller with
The
the screen?
VMU.
Yeah, the VMU. Yeah.
Yep.
You could train your Chow on the go.
Yep. Those things were like at one point, because once again, what did Sega do in America? Show you the idea, but then not follow through with the production because their finances, they didn't produce a lot. This isn't like what Nintendo's doing where they're kind of controlling their supply to maintain a certain level of demand, okay? You have the VMUs, which were a cool, Tamagotchi-ish idea that really didn't matter. It only had so much of an impact, really, but no other console really had that at the time. That was interesting, that you could remove it and play it and stuff and plug into your controller, right? They didn't bring those out soon enough. I remember when Sonic Adventure was out and fans were raging because 10% of the game, if you want to call it that, wasn't playable because you couldn't get the VMUs. I remember on eBay, when eBay was very young, okay, there were people spending like $100 more than that for a VMU because they were so hard to find. And by the time the VMUs, again, I eventually got one, sure. And yeah, it works, but by the time they're all like out and available, who cared? Who cared at that time? That was the problem. It was too late in the game, because they had it for that niche idea. Was it used for a lot of other games of VMU? Like, was it? I don't know. Like,
I only used it for Sonic Adventure.
So did everyone else.
Yeah.
So that leads me to my typical questions. Was it used for other games? Was it even acknowledged for other games? Was it successful? Because that was always Sega's thing. Flash in a pan. Okay? Me? Okay? Sega didn't fail because of me. Okay? I bought their Genesis, and I begged my parents for a Sega CD. Then I begged for a 32X, okay? All right? Love my parents, by the way, right? Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad, right? But, the 32X, I only bought one game. And what game was it, Lee? What game
Knuckles
would I bought?
Chaotix?
No, not
Okay.
even. No, not even, which was a
Good.
good answer. No. Guess. Do you know what game would be that I got?
No.
Doom.
Paperboy.
Doom.
Doom.
They put
Doom.
Doom out on that?
Doom was one of the launch titles because I didn't have a home PC until I was a little older. I had game consoles well before I had a computer at home, and Doom on the 32X was like that was their main bread and butter. That was their flagship. They're like, this is what the 32X can do. And it worked really well. It was a really good game. Was it anything different? No, it was Doom. They didn't do anything different with it. There's no additional content or anything. It was on a console as opposed to a computer. And it played really, really well. But then after that, yeah, you had things like Knuckles Chaotix, yes. And all sorts of other fantastic ideas. I didn't buy anything after that. Literally. Yes. And that 32X cost $150.
Whoa.
And I had one game.
Wasn't it just an add-on?
Yep. Because you had to
$150?
because you had to plug that into the Genesis.
Right.
And then so that Sega
That's a
could
bit
really
pricey.
get you. Okay, we're like all of a sudden I'm taking the episode far, far away to another field somewhere. But I am gonna say this, and I'll stop. I swear to God, I'll stop. Don't forget, there were Genesis games, Sega CD games, Sega 32X games, right? And then for the super duper gamer in your soul, wherever that soul may be, how about you dip in to the old Sega 32X CD games. Because I'm not mistaken, there were some Fusion games like that incorporated both parts.
Did not know that.
The Sega CD and 32X. Check that. I'm going to check that, actually, because I thought that was a thing. Because I remember hearing about it, and I was like, what are you talking about? Why would I care? I'm going to have to look at this. I'm going to look at this right now. And when I learn how to type, because I keep typing Seba. Seba. Let's see here. Let's see. What we got here? Hold on. Here we go. What we got here? Let's see. Six Sega CD. Yep, Sega CD 32X games.
Jeez.
I'm just looking to see exactly how it worked. I'm just skimming really quick.
Was that a separate thing from the 32 and the CD? Or
I'm looking to see here. Okay, here we go.
did you put the CD in the 32 and then the 32 into the Genesis?
Sega began releasing Sega CD 32X games. If you wanted to play these, you had to have the Genesis, the Sega CD, and the 32X. And you need all three power supplies.
So they did stack on top of each other.
Yeah, well, the way,
So
the way how it
ridiculous.
goes is the Sega CD, when the first part came out, it was like to the right and there's a tray and you plug the Genesis on top. Later on, they made like the all-in-one like Genesis Sega CD unit, which is more slimmer, I think is what it was. But the 32X, much like your it was Sonic and Knuckles that was the stacking cart, right, for Genesis.
Yep.
So you know, it was the same thing. You just plugged the 32X into the Genesis and then put the game into the 32X portion. And wow, here these are my selections. Ooh, I could have gotten Corpse Killer,
Oh.
Night Trap, which I thought I heard is actually being re-released again.
I feel like I heard something recently about.
That's just woof. Next,
Woof.
Fahrenheit. I remember this game. I'm looking at on
Fahrenheit?
the website here. I don't know it, but I remember seeing a picture here. See the firefighter dude? I bear that box.
Oh god, that looks
See,
so
it says
cheap.
right there, 32X Sega CD. There it is.
It's a nice case. Like the side trimming is very nice.
Slam
on it. I mean,
City with Scottie Pippen. Okay.
oh, Michael Jordan's minion. Jordan's minion. Out of sympathy, got his own game.
Supreme
for
Warrior. Surgical Strike. What?
Did you just say Supreme Lawyer?
Supreme Warrior.
Oh.
Supreme Lawyer would have been more palatable for me, I'm
I
thinking.
would love to
I
play
would've played
Supreme
that.
Lawyer.
Hopefully that
I
was like
object.
that. Holy Supreme Lawyer would have been like the origins, like Phoenix Wright or something.
Yeah,
like
I was
that.
just gonna say that.
Exactly.
Well, I'd like to play a game, as a bailiff. Just bailiff Kong 64. I don't know. I'd play a bailiff game, and it's a lot of it's just. Do
gotta
you want to
control the
unfold
room.
your arms, twiddle your thumbs, cough, clear your throat?
Do you like? So it's like the bailiffs. Is there like the button you have to press exactly the right time because you don't want to like jump into action too soon or too late. It's kind of like has like a Dragon's Lair effect to it,
Although
something like that.
it should, and you should have the option to be a loose cannon bailiff. Like you're Dirty Harry or something, you just make your own rules, and it's just you just like smash the head of like the of the defendant. It's like bah.
Pressing like all four shoulder buttons will allow you to like throw a chair or something like that just randomly.
It's all timing like Telltale games where it's a timing with the
It's the
buttons.
same, yeah, right.
And it's just boom, and then you maybe you lose your job and become a private bailiff, a freelance bailiff.
The old PB.
So if there's a murderer that you're really convicting and you really just detest him because he did it,
So you just
bring this guy in.
So you would just like just scoff at him like during the whole game basically for the bailiff.
I'd say you could probably
Maybe do like some accosting from a distance or something like that.
Yeah, you could do a little cackle.
You kind of like guys going in, like the murderer's going in with his groceries, and like you're there like 2 blocks away. You're like, keep it down, you.
Keep it down with that kumquat and bananas.
Stop it.
Keep it down with the produce over there. We're trying to hold a trial. I'm about to snap. So
Where are we at?
anyway,
This is where okay.
Yeah,
So
anyway.
it went south.
So unfortunately, thanks to my lack of preparation, the train went somewhere far away.
And it led to a good idea for a game.
We're kind of floating back
Moving
to
on.
the
Let's
station.
Let's
I'm
get
thinking.
back on track. All right.
Yes.
Okay. So
Skimming it.
a game I wish wasn't canceled, and this is something you guys expressed your distaste for on the last episode for this series, is Mega Man Legends 3. It got canceled for no
Oh
reason.
no, I did too. That's
I
right,
was
yeah.
going to mention this. I was going to mention this, and I'm going to let Lee finish. I'm going to say this just one support. I am not a big fan of series. I said that already. A lot of people are. Cool, right? Here's my thing. I would love to see Mega Man Legends 3 come out on new gen. I think that would be impressive to see.
Yeah.
I didn't want to see another, black box skipping mess is what I really didn't want to see. So
Well,
go ahead.
What bums me out is Mega Man Legends 2 ended on a cliffhanger. Like Mega Man stuck on the moon in Elysium.
Really?
You're never gonna know what happens because
He's just chilling up there.
yeah.
Prime
Well,
real
the third
estate.
game, was
Putting
supposed
out
to
some
introduce 2 different characters that you play as. You're supposed to go up and rescue him or something. That was like one of the plot points.
Makes sense.
But like they were gonna release a prototype demo for people to chime in and give their input, so they could help with development, and they just canned everything, like out of nowhere. They said it didn't meet our requirements to move on with production. It's canceled.
And that's weird because people, again, our example that even you were talking about at the beginning of the show, it's a title that people are going to buy. People are not going to see that
course.
title and say,
And one of the things they said is there wasn't enough fan support. Is one of the reasons they canceled it too. Which is
That's a
ridiculous
cop-out.
to
From what
me.
perspective?
That's a
From what
cop-out.
perspective? Everybody's always, didn't we talk about already about the lack of Mega Man games?
Yeah.
Okay.
Capcom just doesn't want to do anything with them. They just keep releasing these little
Crappy
collections.
games.
Resident Evil 12.
Yeah.
Get that, I mean, I get kind of where they're coming from. Stick with your main franchises that are rolling now and roll with it because the market is that competitive, and as every year goes, I believe the profits keep getting slimmer because of diversity of options out there. Okay, I mean, AKA look at mobile gaming, right? I mean, but yeah, I mean, because Mega Man is a staple franchise though, so me saying that's kind of stupid. They still make Street Fighters. I mean,
It doesn't make
God.
sense that
Yeah,
they're not
Tekken.
doing anything with any of the Mega Man series. Like it's just done.
Whoever makes Tekken.
Is that Namco?
Yeah, I think.
Probably.
But
That's
still,
Namco.
that's still
But,
being made. It's crazy.
What was I gonna say?
It is crazy. Is it 7 coming out now?
Yep.
I think 7.
With
But,
Hihachi.
no, it would have been cool if they put out Legends 3 because do Legends 1 and 2 hold up to this day? Not really. The controls were clunky. It wasn't a very
But there is a
solid game. But I love the characters. I love the story.
I love the
They were good
campfire
games.
and the kitchen in the one
Yes.
house going in the snowy level. That's one thing I remember about Mega Man Legends.
We can say the same thing for, Final Fantasy 7. Like, it has an enormous cult following. So does
Yeah.
Mega Man Legends.
Yeah, it does.
Is Final Fantasy
respect
7
that.
like the most revolutionary RPG ever? No.
No.
No. But
at
it
all.
has a very strong following. I'm one of those people.
Yes.
Okay? But, I mean,
That's one of the things I hate about Final Fantasy 7 though is the fan base because most of the people who love that
me.
most people I talk to who love the characters and everything, they've never played through the original game because either the graphics were bad or they just couldn't get into it. It's like,
I never thought about that because, I just played through my games. Well, a good number of them. Eventually, I stopped doing that trick.
most of the fans,
but
they just love cosplaying as the characters. That's what most of the fans love doing with 7, and that's what pisses me off
Kingdom
about
Hearts
the fan
gave them
base.
new life.
Yeah,
When the Kingdom Hearts
that's true.
came out, and then Sephiroth and Cloud were in it, and I think that gave them new life, and it gave Squall, Leon Hart new life, which is an awesome
Leon.
name.
It's like,
Oh, they called him Leon in Kingdom Hearts. That's right,
Why?
Leon.
Why?
He sounds like a jazz singer. He goes from
Why?
warrior to jazz singer.
I wouldn't know. See, like, I don't. There might be a reason, and I don't like. I guess I don't research my games as much, honestly, as you guys do. Okay, but like that would be something I'd love to ask at like a Kingdom Hearts discussion panel at a convention if they had like some of the creators there or something. Like, was that an inside joke? Was that just like a thing? Like, hey, he's Leon. Like, like you didn't do it to any of the characters. Were you just against Squall? Was there some sort of bizarre copyright infringement I'm unaware of? That was I don't know. Like I don't know. That always drove me crazy when I was playing Kingdom Hearts 1. I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. Well, I don't get it. Why? And you can tell that, like, you read the dialogue, it's like meant to be a joke. And I'm like, right, but what is the joke? I mean, well, I get the, whatever. I don't know.
Oh, okay. So I Googled it,
Oh, good God.
and you know how Google does the quotes from an article when you search something?
Yeah.
This is from KH Wiki. Let's
What's
see.
KH stand for? I'm thinking like,
Cool Hearts.
oh, well, I was gonna say like King Hot Dog, but okay.
King Hades. I don't
King
know.
Hippo. Hey.
James Woods. Squall Leonhardt is a supporting character in the Kingdom Hearts series and leader of both the Heartless Resistance and the Hollow Bastion Restoration Committee. After the destruction of his world by the Heartless, he changed his name to Leon in an attempt to amend for his mistakes.
Okay, yeah, I thought I knew that, but I'm saying that they could have also they could have changed his name to like, Kilbasa. I'm just saying, like, why?
Squall Kibasa?
It's called, hey, Kilbasa. Might as well. I'm Kilbasa, guys.
That's very... It's funny, the justification for
I
all the
just
wrong
want to know
reasons.
the decision process behind that. Yeah, I remember.
I can't find it.
Yeah, I thought I knew that. That's vaguely, I don't know. Somehow that rings a bell to me. I guess he has identity crisis or something. Okay, great, whatever.
One person on the board justified it as if Mickey's letter said go find Squall, it would take away the surprise factor and the impact, which I say is a bunch of malarkey.
What?
Why couldn't they
What are you talking about?
like, in this board of asking why they changed his name to Squall,
Yeah.
from Squall to Leon,
And
I guess Mickey at some point writes a letter saying go find Leon, and so this person said, if it's
I would have rather Mickey Mouse wrote the letter. King Mickey wrote the letter saying go find Kilbasa. That sounds great. Go
Or
find
they could have
Kilbasa,
said,
guys.
go find.
Go to the universe of Aisle 9.
They could have given him a nickname like the Heartless, anti-Heartless, whatever, and then that would have been how you hide it, and he's still Squall Leonhardt. But that's besides the point of where we're at in this. So we said
I'm kind of just tripping over the same pothole here. Everybody else entertaining me. I do appreciate this. Thank you.
as
Thank
good
you.
of a debate as it is, because that is great. though.
Intense.
Squall.
Perfect for political platforming for me.
Yes,
Yes.
that would be your when you run for some government office. That would be your platform.
probably doesn't
I
exist.
will change. I will go to Square Enix and I will change Leon back to Squall Leonhardt and KH3.
Oh, I'm from the
You'll win votes.
Kilbasa. I'm from the Kilbasa party. Here we go.
Squall Kilbasa. Squall Kilbasa.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm good.
So
I'm good.
you got it? You got your fix?
No.
Okay. I'll take that as a yes. So, you say Mega Man Legends. Let's bring back Bomberman. Like Bomberman 64. Like the 3D Bomberman.
Yeah, there
yes.
hasn't been
Yes.
a
I
good
want
Bomberman
that.
adventure game in a while.
So griping on that real fast. I know Mike hasn't. I don't think you have. Have you played a new Bomberman on the Switch?
No,
Okay, so
I heard it's not very
well, I was
good.
playing it. So I'm playing it with some other folks, right? And here's the thing. I don't mind the computer like owning my ass whenever I play a game, I suppose. But we were playing it, and we added some bots into the mix too. These bots have like the AI of like Super Genius, and we didn't have the difficulty in a bot like set to high. They're perfectly placing the bombs. Like I had no shot. I'm sitting here. I'm like, the computer's just toying with me. I had no chance. There's no possible AI like skip or error you could take advantage of or something. There's no like RNG and estimation that would work in your favor. It was just watch them perfectly place and run and everything. I gave up. Gave up. Did like 64 though.
It was
love
awesome.
64.
It was awesome.
Oh,
I would
yeah.
love to see like something on the Switch, like the 3D Bomberman.
Yeah, I heard the Switch
Bomberman
Bomberman's
Switch.
got really bad camera angles as well. Like it's on a weird like
It kind of
diagonal.
I mean, I guess the stage I played that wasn't the case, but like it is interesting you say that because I did find myself kind of struggling with the lineup. I would say, like I
Yeah,
found myself
that was one of the big
misplacing the
problems, the big
bombs, and I'm
complaints.
like, what did I just do? You know? Yeah. And I killed myself a couple times with that. Yeah.
So I have one more game that I wish that wasn't canceled,
Tell
and
me.
it was a game called Star Wars 1313.
Oh,
Okay.
That
I
looked
heard
I
awesome.
saw
about
that.
this.
That looked good.
I heard
looked
about
incredible.
this. I saw some screenshots of it before, but I knew like nothing about it.
Well,
was that an Xbox game?
No, it was gonna be on PlayStation
Oh, okay.
3,
All right.
360 and PlayStation 3. It was
supposed to be
like
real
Uncharted,
mature,
right?
real mature storyline in it, right?
And yeah, and it had that Uncharted like gameplay, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
they showed gameplay. There was gameplay footage released, and it looked incredible.
Really?
And it got canceled, which
for no reason,
bothers
right?
me. Yeah, they just out of
Which
nowhere.
is weird because it's Star Wars too. You release like everything Star
Yeah,
Wars.
right.
Like anything
Yeah.
that's called Star Wars or Assassin's Creed gets like the stamp of approval, basically.
Yeah. Oh, Assassin's Creed's the new Madden. Just every year there's an installment. Every year. Every year.
Every year, everywhere.
It's insane, but Star Wars 1313 did look fantastic, and there's no rhyme or reason, logical reason, because LucasArts always has money because they're friggin' LucasArts. So that you can't use that as an excuse. There was so much buzz, so much excitement from the fans, so you can't use disinterest from the fans as an excuse.
Right.
What would be the excuse? And what disappoints me is that after Disney bought the Star Wars, collection, I wish they would have resurrected that game and just tried to get that back on track. But
Maybe that was the reason it was that. Did they buy Star Wars before it was canceled or after?
After it was canceled a couple.
Okay.
Maybe a year before.
So I thought maybe
bought
Disney
it.
might have had a hand in canceling because they're Disney
Yeah.
and they want all their franchises to be family friendly.
No, this was canceled. I think a year before the purchase, and then Disney bought it, and then people were hoping that they'd resurrect it, and well, we didn't get that.
Oh well.
We're still waiting on, I guess, what's the studio, Visceral Games, or something. I think it's called that. They're making a Star Wars game.
I didn't hear about that.
That's nothing came out on it, but it's in the works. So we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see, but
Well.
that's all I got with
Well,
wish weren't.
the last game I have is something I wish was canceled, and it's another series of games, not just one. The 3 Zeldas they put out on the CDI.
What about
guess-
those?
Why did they make them?
Oh, okay. Okay, I thought for a
Why?
second you were supporting them. I was about to lose
Oh no,
my marbles.
I wish they were canceled.
I think
When
everybody
I think
does.
of that, I think of like that. I think of the. I never played it, right? Never have. When I think about it, I think of like that. Is there like the witch, like the Super Dom nose or whatever it is? Like, is there like a?
I don't know.
it's
All I know
like,
is
there's this one
there
screenshot
are-
I see. I'm like, what the hell am I looking at?
The only thing I know is there were horribly animated cutscenes with the worst voice acting ever, and the games didn't even work. Like, they were side scrollers, and most of the time the
Were they
buttons
side
didn't work.
scrollers?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're side-
I thought when
None
I
of it made
see the
sense.
pictures, like I never really. I'll be honest, I never really looked into it. I thought they were more of like a King's Quest format or something like that. No, they're just side scroller.
One funny thing I found online when I was researching them is Matthew Castle of Computer and Video Games considered the cutscenes to be terrifying, rendering Link as a rubbery-limbed freak with a face that swims all over his head.
Yes.
A rubbery limbed freak. Yes.
Yes. Old swim face.
I
Don't get
could-
the Triforce.
Swim face.
Jolly old swim face.
But I don't know how those games were.
Wasn't
were
that
made.
not Nintendo either? Like they didn't
Yeah,
have a
but-
blessing.
but
They just
that-
kind of.
Yeah, like I don't know
It was
how.
like a collaboration with Philips.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what was Magnavox? Phil's Magnavox's CDI 3EO, right? But like, I mean, that's interesting. But back when that came out, though, that was that interesting era where like, I guess you just had the connections and the blessings to develop your games, I guess, or something, because you know how much games are rigorously put under quality control now. I mean, now if that something like that was produced now, it would only be produced if it was for like, I don't know, comic appeal or something, I mean, there's no way it would come out now, because that was a long time ago when those games came out, but then again, the same quality control now is canceled many titles we talked about today, so go swim face.
Swim face.
I am Team Swim Face.
Well, you guys have any more?
No, I think
Anything else?
I think I've successfully managed to drag this podcast like at least 20 minutes longer with my non-relevant content. So I say I'm good. Yeah.
I'll just throw one more. Duke Nukem Forever. 15 years
Ooh.
of development. They probably should have canceled it, especially with the final product ended up being they were better off just letting it cancel instead of forcing the release. I mean, it was a fun story because it was like, oh, is it ever going to come out? It's going to be on this platform and this platform, and it's this studio doing it now.
Yep.
This studio shut down. This studio scooped up the IP. And it was just this never-ending story, and then it goes gold finally, then gets released, and the reviews were like 4 out of 10. And I played the demo, and there was a pile of crap. Wait, and
I
speaking
didn't
of
play
crap,
demo.
you could like put your hand in a toilet and just pull out like crap and throw it. Like it was horrible.
And why would we be doing this again? Why
I
am
don't
I throwing
know.
feces around?
I don't know, to be honest.
Am I throwing feces around physically to fully embraced my disappointment in this game. Is that what you're telling
It
me?
about sums it up, and I
Well-
wonder if that was their wink way of saying this game's a pile of shit.
Well,
so
if I,
here you
well,
go.
if I ever need, if I ever have that urge, I'll make sure I phone you or phone a friend or something, and you can help me fulfill my rage. Sound
And
good?
mind you,
There you go.
Gearbox developed this. The Gearbox behind Borderlands, one of the best shooters out
Really?
there. Yeah, Gearbox.
Gearbox? Well, maybe that was.
Before I think it came out like
I
07,
don't
so it was
know.
before Borderlands, right before. But still, they probably learned from their lessons.
That's what I was going to say. Maybe
Yeah.
Borderlands is like, okay, let's
Yeah.
not do this.
Because Borderlands is probably a top 5 shooter
Sure. Oh, yeah.
FPS out there. It's incredible. But
Along
anyway,
with, along with Destiny 3 and its incoming 20 payable DLCs, I'm sure. Next.
yes. Anyway, that's all I got.
Well, there you have it, folks. Some games should be canceled.
Whoa.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
And whoever is listening to this, God rest your soul. Thank you. We will see you next time on Resume Game.
Bye-bye.